Guys, we're gonna watch this one. We'll watch this one for today. Why Majora's Mask's Blue Dog took 25 years to win the race. I've never played Majora's Mask, by the way. I've always wanted to play it because conceptually it looks really cool. But I bought it for my 3DS this one time, and then I realized that my 3DS and the game itself were from like two different regions, and the 3DS had region locking, so I couldn't play it, and I was really sad.
Everybody loves a good underdog story. People often find themselves inspired by narratives where an unlikely participant rises up against all odds and triumphs in the face of adversity.
Yeah?
Usually, though, the underdog isn't a literal dog, but I can think of few competitors who have tried and failed more times than the blue dog in The Legend of Zelda.
Is it all... Is it like RNG? It probably is, right? Or like
Among
math.
the many side quests in the game is a racetrack at the back of Romani Ranch, where the player can select one of 14 dogs to bet on in a race. 4 white, 3 beige, 3 gray, 2 brown,
I saw a golden one.
1 gold,
Yeah.
and 1 ill-fated blue dog. If the dog you pick performs well enough, you'll be rewarded with a piece of heart as the ultimate prize to take home. However, going in blind won't get you very far. In
Just
order
pick the
to
golden
truly
one.
succeed, you
It's
must
the best
first
one, clearly.
obtain the Mask of Truth from the Swamp Spider House, which allows you to hear the inner thoughts of animals. Once acquired, you can use it to see how each dog will perform in the race. Each time you enter the racetrack area, the dogs will randomly be assigned either a good, neutral, or bad condition, indicating how well they can be expected to perform in the race. By using the
The only Zelda game I ever played was Breath of the Wild for like 5 minutes and stopped. Breath of the Wild was really good. I prefer Tears of the Kingdom though. They're both really, really good. I actually liked both of them. Hello, lag. Welcome, welcome. But I've played a few Zelda games. The Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, none of them are my favorites. I think my favorite Zelda game, I'd say, is probably Skyward Sword. I remember, dude, Skyward Sword is still such a good game. And Twilight Princess, but I only ever played Twilight Princess once. But it was also really good. Both of them are from the Wii. Both of them are Wii games. And they are phenomenal. If you have not played Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, go play it. They're really good games.
The Mask of Truth to choose a dog with a good condition, the heart piece is easily obtainable within a few attempts. However, this seemingly simple minigame possesses a hidden, secondary mechanic that is never communicated directly by the game. You see, Nintendo coded in a distinct speed stat for each dog color, creating a clearly defined tier list that tells us which
Beyond
dogs are better and which are not so great. If we take a look at the speed values embedded in the code, we can see that each dog color is assigned a pair of numbers. For the sake of brevity, we can mostly ignore the first number. The important number there is the second one in each pair, which represents the speed value of each dog for the last 3 quarters of the race. While the stats are relatively balanced overall, the two biggest outliers here are the gold dog with a speed value of 6.0.
Oh, that
and
makes
blue dog,
sense.
who sits at the bottom with a measly 4.0 speed value. When playing the game, these two extremities are easily observed. The gold dog, especially if given the good condition, is almost guaranteed to win the race, while the blue dog, with its minimal speed value compared to the other dogs,
Oh no, poor blue dog.
well, blue dog's viability, or lack thereof,
Okay,
has
I
become
see.
the subject.
So it is like a bit of RNG and a bit of math, which is probably what I was expecting. So I'm guessing like the way that the dog wins is probably like, oh, he needs like a positioning RNG, you know? Oh, he needs to go like in front of this dog, which will push him forward and stuff like that, you know?
Subject of outright infamy among Majora's
You get
Mask
stuck on
fans.
the golden dog.
Over the 25 years since the game's original release, nobody has ever seen Blue Dog come even close to winning the race, with essentially everyone in the community claiming it was outright impossible.
Huh.
Like a dog, a blue dog.
This chat has a lot of faith in a dog that absolutely 100% cannot win this minigame, but it's okay.
But
Without a
he
single
does.
win under its belt, the legend of Blue Dog has become one of complete and utter failure. So, what's the deal here? Is it truly impossible, or have we just not tried hard enough?
You haven't tried hard enough.
As it turns out, there may just be a glimmer of hope for our
The thing is, like, this is kind of, if you think about it, this is insanity. It is insanity. Because the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and over and expecting things to change. And what I'm guessing they're gonna do is they're gonna just play the minigame over and over and over and over and expect the blue dog to win.
Beloved underdog. Over the last few years,
Blue
Majora's
Dog.
Mask speedrunners became aware of an extremely rare glitch where a dog can mysteriously
glitch.
win the race around halfway through the track. The source of the glitch is due to a math error in the game's code, where the game performs
I
a
love
check
Far
to see if
Cry
any of the
3.
dogs are in the finish line region.
Who initially said that? Was it Einstein? I actually don't remember. Who was the one that initially said it? It wasn't Vars. I've never played Far Cry 3, but I know his speech. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity?
The way the game determines the finish line region is by looking at 3 separate regions defined by the differently colored shading shown here. If any dog is in all 3
It's like
regions
Mario
at
Kart.
once, the game deems it on the finish line and having completed the race. You can see that the 3 regions all intersect in this quadrilateral that roughly encompasses where
I
we'd
see
expect the
how that
finish line
works.
to be. But taking a closer look reveals that the 3 regions
Bye-bye,
all
lag.
continue to intersect along this line here. Wouldn't you know it, the line runs all the way to the other side of the track, revealing the source of this glitch. If
Okay.
a dog ever happens to be exactly on this line, the game will see that it's in all 3 regions at once and declare the dog to have finished the race way earlier than any of the other dogs. And this glitch could, in theory, grant Blue Dog the victory we've all been waiting for. But wait, I hear you say, if the line runs all the way across the track, shouldn't this happen all the time? The dogs cross over this line every single race, so what gives? The truth of the matter is that the line is extremely...
It needs to no clip. It needs to no clip into the ground. I'm calling it.
extremely thin, and the dogs themselves are treated as nothing more than coordinates in a 3D space, that is to say, a single point on the map upon which the game draws the rest of the dog's model. Every frame, the dog will move along the track by having its coordinates shifted a certain distance along the track relative to the dog's speed value. It's easier to visualize if I draw this out in a 2D space.
Oh, I see,
Let's say a line falls exactly here on the racetrack, and a dog comes in moving 5.5 units every frame. It's important to note that the game only evaluates if the dog is in the finish line region once per frame, meaning the only time a dog's position is checked is over these 5.5 unit increments. As a result, in almost all normal instances of the dog race, the dogs hop over the fake finish line region, which is why this glitch rarely ever happens in practice.
That makes
In
sense.
fact, as of the recording of this video, there are only 4 known instances of this glitch ever occurring within regular gameplay, with the first known instance not occurring until 2018, a good 18 years after Majora's Mask originally released.
Bro, 18 years. That's crazy. In 2018, the game had been out for 18 years.
I say known instances because probably there's been more cases over the years, but without sufficient evidence, we have to assume that any prior instances of this occurring happened to someone who didn't know enough about the game to recognize that something special had happened, nor feel the need to recount it for the internet, who would probably just write them off as having an uncle at Nintendo. For Majora's Mask nerds, it wasn't until the 3rd time, when it happened to speedrunning legend Marco in 2022, that anyone took note of it and began digging into why this glitch occurred.
Of course.
Alors que j'aurais pu avoir 270. Quoi?
Wait, what?
D'accord.
He's confused. When the French is confused.
Ok.
Okay.
D'accord, ok. What? Quoi?
He's so confused.
Allô?
Hello?
In Marco's clip, we can observe the 2 key pieces of evidence that the glitch happened. First is that the race end jingle plays way earlier than we expect.
270. Quoi?
Oh, bum, bum, bum,
Meaning the
bum,
rest
bum.
of the
Oh,
race
that
in
one. I
complete
see.
silence. The second is that the game says Marco's pick, the gold dog, got 2nd place despite reaching the actual finish line region before any of the other dogs. But this lines up with what we expect. some other dog, one of the other 13 anyway, landed on the ethereal line I described before, triggering the end of race.
Oh, so the one of them landed. Oh, I see. So there's no way to really know who it was? Like it was just one of the 13. Well, then how would you know if it was the blue? Well, I'll just keep playing.
Claiming the coveted first place title from the rest of the dogs.
I'm sure he explains it.
Finish the race legitimately. With this in mind,
Unless
let's take a look at the clip of the first known instance of the glitch occurring.
It's a cool profile pic.
Go, Frankerzy! I don't know what message you had, but hopefully it's a good one. I need him to speed up right about now. Can he speed up? It doesn't look really that fast. Wait!
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of cool.
What did the music just do?
No music.
He won, but...
I think, dude, I don't know why, but I find it so creepy whenever, like, a game, like, is just playing a song, and then the song ends, right? But, like, the scene hasn't. For example, here, right? The dogs are running, like, it's a race, but the song ends earlier than it should, and so the dogs are, like, still running, and then there's, like, no music. And it's you just hear like sound effects of the thing, like what is happening. In this case, it's like the dogs running. I just find it so creepy. I don't know why, but I just find it so creepy. Yeah, suddenly the music stopped for like no reason. You should watch the new Vegas Out of Bounds video. I'll maybe check it out.
What just happened?
Yeah, but who won?
Oh my god. That makes no sense. That's the sound, like, it shouldn't, the music, that sound it made, it shouldn't make until...
Did you notice what was odd there? Despite the glitch clearly happening with the early race end jingle, Trev's chosen dog is still deemed to have won the race. This means that not only did Gold Dog finish first legitimately, but it was also the lucky dog that triggered the glitch, meaning it would have won no matter where it ended up finishing at the end of the race. This isn't really relevant to the topic at hand. I don't want to talk about Gold Dog any more than I need to, but this occurrence is just so
talk about Blue Dog.
Unbelievably lucky that I had to bring it up in the video. Now, where does this leave us for Blue Dog's chances? Well, initially, our endeavors did not net great results. Earlier this year, I ran a charity fundraiser attempting over 1,300 races picking Blue Dog, hoping to get the long-awaited victory, but alas, not only did I fail at getting a Blue Dog victory, I wasn't able to get the glitch to occur a single time. It didn't seem completely out of the question. After all, people regularly attempt Pokemon shiny hunts, doing significantly more attempts than this, but without knowing the true odds, it was hard to say if I was really chasing my white whale.
Shiny hunts just...
After all,
Pokemon shiny hunting just seems so absurd to me. From what, like, I've only ever played through Pokemon Emerald, and I think Fire Red, and I think Ruby. I don't know which one. I know I've played through Ruby, and I know I've played through Emerald. Like, dude, I don't think I've ever found a shiny. Like, then again, I've only ever played through it once. Like, just shiny hunting just seems like so absurd to me.
Even if the glitch was proven possible, what if the game's parameters only allowed for certain dogs to trigger the glitch? What if there's a finite number of possible dog races that can happen, and none of them result in Blue Dog triggering the glitch? Well, to answer that question, let's take a moment to talk about the variables that go into the race's outcome. The obvious one is the arrangement of condition the dogs are randomly assigned
the wind speed
in the racetrack area, but the second variable is
you need to take into consideration the dog's aerodynamics.
Earlier, I talked about how dogs have...
I've only ever seen one shiny accidentally killed it. Oh, Jesus. Hi, Cool Sands. Welcome.
Specific speed values, and how these speed values are used to determine how far they move along the track each frame. But I glossed
that's the
over
sound the cat makes.
Detail. Every frame, each dog will have a random fluctuation between negative 0.5 and positive 0.5 added to its base speed value. This means, in addition to the condition the dog is assigned, each frame, the game will make 14 calls to the RNG function in order to determine the dog's actual speed for that frame. While explaining the finer details of how RNG functions work is well
Holy
outside the scope of
code.
this video, and there's plenty of resources out there if you're interested in the topic. The good
Oh
news-
my Jesus, what is this? What? Oh
This
no.
is that RNG
This is just, dude, from someone who has some code experience, this is a nightmare.
RNG's role in this race is actually rather simple. Because the race
Listen, it's rather
runs
simple.
automatic-
Just play the race 1 billion times. Like have a mod installed where you press play on the race, right? You press play on the race, and it takes exactly 1 second, and you do that 1 billion times. It'll only take you almost 40 years. It'll only take you almost 40 years. If every race took 1 second, it would only almost take you 40 years.
automatically. The number of RNG calls the game will make during the
It's
race
like
is
37 years, I
consistent,
think. I'm pretty
and
sure.
a race that starts on a certain RNG value, assuming the dogs have consistent conditions, will always end in the same result. More simply put, the only RNG value that matters for the dog race is the value on the frame that you start the race. This tangent, of course, is all to derive the answer to the question I asked earlier about how many possible dog races can the game produce. Now that we've established what the possible variables are, we can come up with the correct answer. Beginning with the dog's conditions, this number is actually smaller than you might think, because the game will always arrange it such that 4 dogs have the good condition, 5 have the neutral condition, and 5 have the bad condition. This means that the total possible number of distribution you can have for these conditions is 252,252. Okay, it's pretty big, but it's a start. Now for the number of possible RNG values, well, the
Math,
RNG value in
not my
Majora's
strong
Mask is
point,
stored
not
in
gonna
memory
lie.
as a float 32, which is a fancy way of saying the game allocates 32 bits in order to represent the different values it can contain.
Yes.
This means that there are 2 to the power of 32 possible
Oh,
RNG
no.
values, which is
Stop
roughly
mathing.
4.3 billion. Oh, and it gets worse because with the dog's conditions in play, we get to
Stop
multiply one big
math.
number by a significantly bigger number and arrive at our answer. There are 1,083,000,000,414,000,090,350,592
Oh my Jesus
possible dog races.
No,
that the game can
don't
produce.
mathing.
Okay, so that's a lot, but there's good news
One
and
of
bad
them.
news with this number.
The
good
blue
news
dog
is that with
wins.
so many different dog race possibilities, surely at least some of them result in blue dog triggering the glitch, right?
Zero
The
of
bad
them.
news?
Imagine.
Realistically, we
Only-
are never,
only 20.
ever going to get even close to this many attempts at the dog race. If I were to trigger a new dog
try
race
me.
every second, it would take me
With the power of determination, we'll do it.
34 million years to reach that many attempts. Needless to say,
34
you
million
have to be
years.
a madman to even attempt this sort of thing.
Do it. No
And that's
balls.
when I
Imagine like some guy in his chat is like, no balls. He does it. Does it.
Heard from a user named Falkush, who had seen one of my prior videos on the blue dog subject
Math my worst
and got
enemy.
inspired to try and get a victory for himself. However,
Oh, shut up,
his
Chelsea.
approach differed from just loading up the game and running races in real time like I had done. Falkush had a different, but more intricate idea in
Why is that
mind.
profile pic looking at me like that? It's staring into my soul. Oh no.
He had also taken inspiration from previous efforts to brute force the Mario Party minigame a day at the races, which
I got blue dog in second place and never again. That's still pretty lucky though.
coincidentally is also,
it's also
a
really
race
lucky.
minigame where you choose
I
between
think- at least
different
I think.
competitors who have different base speed values and different random conditions. Anyway, he had wrote up a script to brute force the dog race with an emulator. Using the
Oh?
information discussed earlier about how the RNG values affect the dog race, this script would make
1 billion attempts a
a
second.
save state just before pressing A to initiate the race, then run the race at a much faster speed because you could do that with an emulator. And then after the race had
Yeah.
concluded, the script would reload the save state, advance the game by 1 frame in order to change the RNG value, make a new save state, and run the race with that brand new RNG value
That's
and
smart.
a brand new outcome. And how would he determine if Blue Dog had won? At first, I thought he was using a memory viewer to look at which dog had won,
He
but
just goes-
it was in fact a much simpler approach. Falkush used an auto splitter, which is normally
Oh.
used for speedrunning console games.
Okay,
to look for
I would just like I wouldn't be able to. Like my brain doesn't think about these things. I just watch the footage. I just like look at the screen for like hours like nope, next one. Nope, next one. Like I just keep going until the dog wins.
Splitting program.
Hello, Mort.
But here he had cleverly leveraged it to look at the first section of the text displayed after the race. The dog race lady has unique dialogue for your dog getting first, second, third through fifth, and sixth or worse. So the auto splitter would look for one of these unique dialogue strings and record the race result so that he could observe it later.
Almost.
It would also record the number of frames the script waited before starting the race so that he could manually load up the initial save and reproduce the race at a normal speed later on.
800, bro.
So with this implemented, would this be enough to finally achieve a Blue Dog win?
No.
Well, after running the script for 3 days almost non-stop, generating 8,400...
All of this for the Blue Dog to win.
Why exactly? That's what I question for sometimes. That's what I question myself for. Okay, I cannot speak. I'm so sorry. Why? Just for mere curiosity. Like, what do you achieve from this? Like, don't get me wrong. It's awesome. I think this is awesome. This is something that I would try to do. But why? Like I don't think you really get much out of it other than, you know, a YouTube video, which I guess, well, okay, yeah, I just answered my own question. Never mind.
10 races.
Okay, but what if you don't have a YouTube video? What if you don't have a YouTube? What do you do then? Do you just do it for fun? Think about it like that. Because this is an underdog. Oh, pun intended. Stories of a little guy sticking it to the establishment. I love patting the air. Oh no, I forgot to change the thing.
This happened.
I forgot. I forgot to change the thing. No, I'm sorry. Is this the one? Is this the one, guys? God, is this the one? He's in first. He's still in first. He's still in first. Oh, and he's just at third, fourth. Oh no. Yep, that's it, Jover. Oh, okay, it triggered. It triggered. It did get triggered. Okay, it did trigger. Okay. I'm guessing that was the Blue Dog victory? First place.
Can you believe it?
No.
The world's first ever Blue Dog victory.
No, but I wanted to see the Blue Dog pass the finish line, like the actual finish line. Like, I get that he technically won, but I just sort of expected him to actually like pass the finish line.
All thanks to the tiniest oversight in the code allowing for an early win. And with Falkush's effort to automate attempts,
how many
possible races I discussed earlier, the fact that it only took around 8,000 attempts shows that the glitch might be more common than previously thought. And remember, this glitch isn't exclusive to Blue Dog. Although he didn't have an automated way to track the frequency of the glitch happening to any of the other dogs, he estimates that it has around a 1 in 1,000 chance of happening, and he did see it occur a few additional times.
Only 8,000 attempts, yeah.
As a bonus, he included a clip he saw of Blue Dog getting a legitimate 4th place, which, to both of our knowledge, was the best we've ever seen our boy do outside of the glitch. And in his video description,
wait, really?
He proclaimed the question, can the Blue Dog get better than 4th place without the glitch? Well, as it turns out, the story doesn't end here. Falkush was determined to figure out just how good the Blue Dog could perform without the glitch in play, and he had an idea of how to make this happen. Remember at the start of the video, I talked about how each dog had a predetermined base speed value that outlines its overall viability in the race?
What are you reacting to? Why Majora's Mask's Blue Dog took 25 years to win the race. Don't ask.
Well, Falkush had the idea to use this information to min-max the dog's conditions based on their speed, and thus generate optimal conditions for the Blue Dog. In simpler words, Blue Dog had to have the good condition, and the fastest overall dogs needed to have bad or neutral conditions. The result maximizes Blue Dog's chances for a victory. He again used a script to automate loading the racetrack area, look at each of the dog's conditions in memory, and reload it until it was arranged in a way that it was determined to be optimal for Blue Dog. I was initially skeptical, but 1 week after he sent me the first video, he messaged me again with a new video. Blue Dog. second place.
Second place.
Glitchless. Yes, indeed.
Yo.
He was able to find a way to get a legitimate second place finish for Blue Dog using this min-max strategy.
Dude.
Given this result, Falkush was convinced that a legitimate first place finish could happen. At this point,
Oh, but first place though, you think? You think he could actually get first place without glitches? That would be pretty cool. Now that would be cool.
running his automated script on 2 separate computers, generating about 4,000 races per day on each machine.
Only
He
4,000.
was able to produce another second place finish, a third second place finish. Seeing these gave him hope that a first place was somehow possible.
First
After
place
all
will
this time,
happen.
with virtually every top-level Majora's Mask player claiming that Blue Dog could never win the race. Was it a myth this whole time?
Dude.
Surely, with how
I don't
many
think they're
people
gonna
have
do
attempted
it.
the
I don't
race
think it's
over
gonna
the
be
years,
possible.
We would have seen this at least once by now, right? Well, on the evening of August 20...
4,000 per day on each machine. Oh, did he say on each machine? Oh, I thought he meant like 4,000 just on both of them, like per day. I think like a total of 4,000. Okay, that makes sense.
5th,
Oh, that would make sense.
2024.
Oh,
This happened.
you think? Maybe. Let's see. Is it possible? Oh, I'm actually getting nervous. Is it? First place. Second-ish. Third, second. Oh, third. Getting a bit slow. Oh, you think? Second? He is in second. Oh, he's in first. Yo! No way. That's
And there
actually
you have it.
sick.
After 30,000
Wow.
total attempts, we have undeniable proof that, given the right conditions and enough dedication, it is
Dude.
indeed possible for Blue Dog to win the race legitimately.
This is like giving me parkour civilization vibes. This is like better than a lot of shonen anime.
It's entirely unlikely that a real human being will produce this under a real-time context,
My Hero Academia 2
but
Dog Edition.
that's besides the point. Blue Dog has spent his whole life being the laughing stock of the dog race minigame.
Then he
and
wins.
Majora's Mask players as a whole. But after all this time, we
Dude,
can bask
that's
in
sick.
the glory of the ultimate
Chat, we did
underdog
it.
finally receiving the
We-
victory he's
we
been
did
waiting
it.
25 years to achieve.
Took 25 years for the Blue Dog to win. That's crazy. That's actually really cool. That's really sick. I like seeing stuff like this because I just think it's really interesting. It just tickles my brain in a funny way.